Good afternoon. Welcome to All About Animals. I am Sherry Greditor, and my guest today is Christine Goodman, who is an animal communicator. What's an animal communicator?
An animal communicator is someone who communicates telepathy with animals.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you the question I asked you on the phone. How did you find that you could do that?
Well, when I was a girl, I found peace in nature, and I felt more, well, I used to be in other people's gardens and they didn't like that too much, so I decided to go to the cemetery where it was beautifully groomed and I had privacy and everyone left me alone. And because I was open, I started to communicate with spirits that were there, and I had a very encouraging spirit who was encouraging me to rescue retired circus animals when I became an adult. So from that communication, I learned how to be quiet and be open. And then when I went home and I was around my own animals, because I had that space, they were able to, I was able to receive them.
Did it shock you the first time you realized that you were actually able to receive animals? Or did it excite you? Was it, I mean, because if I were talking about for myself, I think I would say it was overwhelming, exciting, terrifying. I could put a whole bunch of different ings on there. How did it feel when you suddenly realized that you were able to speak to and get a response from, because I speak to mine all day and she doesn't respond much, but to speak to and get a response from your own animals?
I remember feeling giddy that I wanted to share it, but then I was brushed away. So that giddiness never left me. And I feel it's exciting and it's thrilling.
Yeah, it must make you feel really good.
Terrific.
Really good. Okay, so you've turned that into a business, as it were, and you do communication with other people's animals. What kind of services do you provide, and who's going to call you for help?
Oh, this is good. I'm glad you asked me that, because I used to work alongside, or I used to work for a vet. So she would call me and she would just give me a case number, and then I would give her information for that case number. Little pieces that helped her put together the puzzle a little bit better and figure out what happened. And oftentimes, Sherry, the animals will come up with the remedy, or they'll give ideas of or give examples of what the symptoms are similar to. There was an animal who kept showing me her owner, and I just asked the owner, what is there? Do you have trouble with something? Do you have a health issue? And she said, actually, I have trouble with my thyroid. And it turns out that that is what the dog had as well.
Amazing. And the dog was aware enough to know that his problem was the same as his mistress's problem.
Yes.
Which is pretty remarkable.
Absolutely remarkable.
So, okay, so we have that one, but there have to be a wide range of people who
yeah.
call you. Why? How?
Okay. Also, many people who have rescued their animal, they want to know their history. They don't come with a background, so they have to piece together. And the animal is usually very willing to share all the information that they can to help make the relationship, have a better understanding of the relationship. Also, people who just want to know if their animal is passing, what they request, what they wish to make to be more comfortable. And there was an interesting story about there was a husky who I was communicating with, and the owner wanted to know, what does she want? What does she want that would please her before she goes or makes her more comfortable? And I felt silly about saying the message that I was getting, but I have to say everything that they say.
Sure.
That's my promise or commitment
This
to
your
them.
commitment,
Yeah.
mhm.
And so I said, fine, I'm just going to give up. I'm just going to say what the dog is saying. And the dog was saying cheesy fish. I need the cheesy fish. I couldn't understand what the cheesy fish were, so I told the owner, cheesy fish. And she said, well, we have two fish, but we just put them downstairs, and their names are Mac and Cheese. So that's what the dog wanted to see, his cheesy fish.
Aw. You know, that's pretty amazing.
It is.
That is pretty amazing.
Incredible.
And so, are most of your clients dogs?
Oh, no. They're dogs, cats. I also had a woman who rescued horses. She called me. And some birds and fish.
Wow. I mean, somehow, all of the mammals and even the birds I can picture, but I can't picture how you can make communication with a fish and what you would learn. What did the fish want?
He was evaluating and sharing his perspective about a relationship that was happening in the household.
Not
Yeah.
in the tank, but in the household.
Right. He could see from his globe what was happening.
Amazing. And he was concerned about it.
Yes.
Which kind of brings to the point that nobody seems to focus in on, which is the interconnectedness between our pets, all kinds, and ourselves, that we don't even know that's going on.
Right.
I mean, you know, I know that I have a dog that follows me around pretty much wherever I go. And she watches me, and when she's not following me, she follows my husband. And I'm wondering what she's thinking about our relationship, because obviously she sees more of it than any of our friends do.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the bond is only strengthened or continues the strength once you have their perspective. And I feel that you have more appreciation for them and their intelligence.
Yeah, people think that animals live in the moment, that they don't have any memory, that they don't keep a history. I have been disagreeing with that for many, many years. But obviously when you carry on a communication with an animal who wants to see his cheesy fish,
Yes.
and they're not in the room, then obviously he's not living in that minute.
Right. They have a memory. They have a history.
And they stay up on top with that history
Yes.
as well, which is pretty remarkable.
And they can comprehend.
Okay, now, when we talked, you told me that you do most of your work by phone.
I do all of my work by phone.
Okay.
Typically, when someone calls me, I just have the first name of the animal. I don't use a picture or anything else. I can just receive information with just a name. As long as I have the person on the other line, it's like a three-way call.
So you do this while you're on the line with the person who's called?
Right. So I have a connection to the person, and the person has a connection to the animal. The animal doesn't even need to be in the room. Doesn't matter how far or how near the animal is, or even if the animal is, let's say, still with us or present.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's remarkable because, for example, I have a rescue dog. And I know pretty much her history with this one. But she's my 6th rescue dog, and many of them have come to me with no history and lots of baggage. And it would have been wonderful if I could have known why, using a specific word, for example. With this one word, if I use that word, the dog will be drooling and shaking and on the ground in terror. And it's a kindly word. It's not a bad word. So with some of these animals that come in for people who adopt, it would be remarkable to be able to pick up some of the background and history.
Yes, just weed through all the heartache and go directly to the solution. And they often hold the solution, and they often know the outcome. For example, if maybe they don't want to sort out the in-between about what happened and how they came to this position, but they want to go straight to the solution so they can just heal and get along in their environment if there is an issue.
And especially if they've got a new home and somebody who loves them.
Yes.
Yeah, they
And
want to be
that's
able
what
to
they are
fit.
about. Love, yeah.
Absolutely. It's all about love.
Yes.
Every bit of it is about love. Because if you didn't love them, you wouldn't care.
Right.
Yeah. And you wouldn't reach out and you wouldn't let them eat your furniture like some people I know over there, a little furry girl, who destroyed everything when she came to me because she was very frightened and very unhappy. But it is love. I mean, it's love all the way.
Yes.
And I think that it's absolutely remarkable that you can actually do that you can reach out, that you can... Okay, you do charge for your services?
I do charge for my services.
Okay, we're not going to talk about money because they don't let me do that on local access cable, but it is a charged service. And about how long do you spend in communication with an animal?
I usually it's a half hour. When people come to me and they're new, they just want to schedule a half hour to see if I can validate some of the things that are going on. Once they accept it, the half hour usually turns into an hour because all the questions start coming and they want the answers, and they do get the answers. The animals are very happy to provide and share not only what's going on in their life, but also in those that are around them.
If you have a deep, dark secret that you don't want shared, you tell that dog to keep its mouth shut.
Exactly.
Christine, we are running low on time.
Okay.
And what I'd like to talk about is how people can reach you.
My website is www.christinegoldman.com.
Okay.
And my phone number is 773-499-4909.
And you can be reached either way, and then you will contact the person back.
Yes.
And then set up a time. Is that how it works?
Yes, I call them back within 24 hours and schedule an appointment.
So, a half hour to see if it will work for you and your animal and Christine. If you really need to know, and there are a lot of us who really need to know, after that half hour, Christine tells me you're going to know.
Oh, yeah.
That it's working or not working for you.
Right.
But it's a terrific option to learn. Because I think the more we know about our animals, the easier it is to love them.
Yes, and have patience.
Yes, and the more they know about us.
The more they have patience for us, too.
Exactly. Christine, thank you so much for coming out. We're just about out of time.
Okay, thank you, Sherry.
And I'm going to take you now to Save a Pet and show you some of the dogs and cats that are waiting there for adoption.
Fantastic, thank you.